Hello, welcome to today's episode. My name is Amoding, here on Civic Space TV, and particularly Women at the Front Line, where we bring to you stories of women who have walked their journeys, who can inspire you in different ways, in various ways. And of course, my duty is to find such women. And I'm delighted that this afternoon, you are still here with us. You keep coming back here. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Today, I have my OG. Because, in politics, sometimes people think that when they are challenging someone for studying and they ask you to bring your OGs to testify whether you went to school or not. So for me, Frances, you'll be there to testify that
Sure.
I went to school. So
Sure.
Frances with me, we're in Toro Girls School, not very far, but in the same class, same year, same time. And we studied together. And I'm delighted to know that she's doing a lot, like many other OGs of mine.
Yes.
And of course, to confirm to you, our viewer, that Toro Girls, where we went, is a great school.
Very great.
And that has produced great women.
Yes.
Two are here. Many are out there. We'll be bringing more, especially those that are doing things that build one or two things, add value to society in terms of, even if it's one building block, but there is tangible change that they are doing in society. For those are the kind of women we are with here on this program. So I would like to welcome you,
Thank you.
Mary Frances.
Thank you
Mokisa.
so much. Oh, I have so many names.
Did you add on, of course? And it's a choice. You can add on as many as possible.
Yes, I actually have reduced. I have so many names.
Yeah.
I'm currently using Birungi Frances Odong.
Ooh.
So you who was with me, you'd say, what happened to Mukisa? What happened to Mary? But at some point, there were too many names that I had to kind of silence others, but I still identify with them. So my name is Frances Birungi Odong.
Yes.
But my other names are Mary. So Mary Frances. And of course, Mokisa, which is our family name.
That one is the one I remember most. And of course, it has a history to this country as well.
Yeah.
And we'll be capturing that. But Mary, I would just like to take us back a little bit. Of course, the last time we were together, we've met in a couple of places as women leaders, working in different spaces. But we last met when we were younger, like about 16 years. And at that time, I couldn't imagine that you were the one that I would see, I don't know, 30 years down the road, probably. Okay, that's maybe more, but 20 plus years now, you are a big woman. And for some reason, when I was reflecting on your background, I'm like, the way I saw Mary Frances was not the type who would come to social work, development work. I thought you'd end up in
what? What is that I would like to know? What is it that you thought I would be?
Corporate world, somewhere, you know, or running a business, a mega business or something.
Yeah.
I just wanted to capture, and for our viewer who doesn't know you, a little bit backward and then forward, you know, your life journey this far. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually what I'm doing right now comes from somewhere. I like I said, I'm Frances. I was born to Mr. Fred Mukisa.
The one we know.
The one that you know.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Solomon Mukisa. So Mr. Fred Mukisa, Honorable Fred Mukisa,
was a member of parliament.
Was a member of parliament for a very long time in Bujiri. Actually, all my life, I knew him as a politician.
And a minister at some point.
Yeah. And even before that, he was, I think these days they call them RDCs, but it was DA by the time I was growing up, district administrator.
Okay.
So when Jinja, when Tororo, we're moving from different, one district to another. So my father was really a politician, I should say.
Yeah.
And a minister also for fisheries for a very long time. And my mother was also a politician. She was a mix of both. She was a politician, but also a social worker.
Okay.
So my mother growing up, I knew her as a women's mobilizer for the NRM government.
That's where you get all these things.
So she was, you know, doing a lot of mobilization work at the time when the NRM government had just taken power. So her with a group of other women, you know, we're canvassing the country, you know, to mobilize women to work with the government, to support the government, to, you know, to promote their agenda. So growing up, I saw my mother doing that. And sometimes, you know, in holiday time, because we didn't grow up with maids or house helps at home.
Surprising.
Never. My parents didn't do that. So we always moved with my mother during holiday because we're in boarding school. So we'd move with her in the communities, and she's doing the mobilizing and she's talking to women.
Wow.
So you can see where that comes from. So she was doing political work, but social work at the same time, because she was really focusing on women and children at community level. And then she also worked as a director in the NRM Secretariat. So after that, she became a deputy director in the NRM Secretariat, focusing more on women still and girls. That has always been her passion. And she's also one of the women that wrote the constitution of this country. She's former CA member, together with Winnie and Bianima and Tezira. Those were all my mothers.
Oh, I should
growing
host
up.
her on this program.
Yes. So those were all, you know, they worked with my mom to bring us up because I was always in their circles. Yes. And then after that, after her work writing the constitution with the team of great people in the country, she moved into civil society work. So she's one, immediately after this CA, she was one of the founder members of Forum for Women in Democracy. So she did a lot of work with women there. And then also she started, together with other members, she started another organization called UCOBAC.
Wow.
So she now got so deep into social work and social
so
you can see where that comes.
Yeah.
I don't even know where the corporate thing came from, but that's what she.
But you
she
see, Frances, on this program, sometimes people think that maybe we are just having these kind of women of your class, of your, you know, a little privilege, they could say, and exposed here and there, and somebody would be wondering and saying, well, those ones had a very, you know, good
platform.
You know, they grew up in a good setting, probably privileged to say and all that. But for somebody who did not come from that background of yours, do you think that growing up in that setting helped shape you the way you are, or there are some other things that you did in your life to come to the point where you are? Because sometimes people think, oh, you come from a good family, no wonder you were able to do that. And because we just want to encourage another person in their journey. So that's a good question. But before I even get to that point, which is very important, I think all my life I have been a kind of person that has had to prove to everyone, I've had to go an extra mile to show the world that even if I have this platform that could have, you know, made it easier for me, I don't take it for granted. I have to work hard. I have to prove myself and show that there is something that I have to offer. So when I finished, when I was in school, in university, I didn't tell you, from Toro Girls, my primary school, I was in Nsube, in Mukono, Nsube boarding school. Then I came to Toro Girls, where we met. Then I went to Green Hill for my HSC. Then I joined Makerere University for my first degree in sociology, and then later my master's in human rights. But when I was in university, because I always felt that I want to contribute as a leader. I want to do something as a leader. I stood for a position at university level. Is that so?
At the guild level. As a representative for women. And I wouldn't say that came because
you were already born into a political family.
I think the environment was a push for me to realize that I had something in me as a leader, because I could see my parents were doing it. These are people that came from ordinary families, but they were leading, they were contributing something like I have just explained. So I thought, why not? So I stood for that position, and I made it as a women councillor at that level, at the guild level.
Wow.
And at that point, what I did is that I did a lot of internship with existing organizations, you know, to just learn how things are done out there. And in most of, because my mother was already working in civil society organizations, I would always ask, can I come in and do internship? Can I volunteer in this organization? And she always said, well, come. But one thing she always told me, I am giving you this opportunity, but do not think you're special. Yes, do not think you're special. Do not think that you're here because I am the founder member, I am the ED. If you do anything wrong, I am going to send you out just the way I do everyone else. So when I got into these spaces, these opportunities, I really worked hard. I really worked hard to prove to everyone and to show everyone that I do not take this for granted. I do not take this for granted. I am good at it. I can do something,
and I love
what I'm doing, and I have a passion for it. So really, all my life, I've always had to show that you do not have to take anything for granted. You do not have to take anything for granted. You just have to use every opportunity available to you.
I would like to pick
the
more
best that you can do
of that, because you see, it's very important. Sometimes the interaction we have with our parents, there's a way it shapes us. It shapes us in different ways, negatively and positively. For some parents, you learn negative lessons from them, but for your parents, I don't know, there are some things that you could point out that, you know, built you learning from them. Because for you, yours is a different story. It's not like somebody who started from ground zero. Probably you had to prove to belong, and also justify yourself that indeed I am as good as Mukisa, the man and the woman and all that.
I think for me, especially my mother, it was, she really emphasized to us that you need to work hard. You have the potential to do everything that you can do. And she always told us that it is very fulfilling to do something that will change another person's life. So she would tell us, if you have an opportunity, you have had this education, you have, you have parents that have been able to afford you to go to school and all that. Please always think about the fact that there are millions of people that are not like you.
Many people.
And there is a lot that you can do to transform their lives, to contribute to their lives. It was always a conversation that we're having at home. And my mother always had that empathy towards, especially women and children, especially girls. She always said, you know, our culture does not really give opportunity to girls. It does not, it really discriminates against girls. That's how our culture is. It's really a patriarchal society. So from the time I was young, there was always that sensitivity towards how unfair our society is.
And I see in her life, she focused on exposing you. There are many parents. We are parents now. I don't know how many, times we expose children to what we do. It is said that in the Indian community, children do exactly what their parents are doing. Even in terms of business, you pass on a business empire here and there. So,
I think sometimes it's the way we are taught that it's given a negative connotation if you're, following the footsteps. It's as if, can't you do your own things? But I think for me, if God has given you that opportunity, it really depends. It's up to you to use it either negatively or positively. And for me, I keep on thinking that it's, as parents, as people that look up to us, if these opportunities exist, it's very good to train our children and to expose them to really walk that same journey, because we know the contributions that we are making, and we know that they have a platform now that we are giving them to be able to fill that space as well. So for me, I think it's not something that we should be ashamed of, saying that, how can my child, take over from me?
Especially Frances, as a leader, you know that many businesses in Uganda, when the founder dies, it collapses.
Yes, it is because you have not you've not mentored your own children or the people that are within your circles to learn
the skill from you,
to practice what you're doing, speak, to mentor them, coach them, so that they can be able to, to continue what you have started.
And a lot of times I've noted, we are our children. Most of the time, the skills we have, they are replicated in the lives of the children that we have. So I think that one was an important lesson from your family.
I think it's really contributed so much
So
to
how
who I
many of
am.
you are in this kind of work? How many are in politics?
As in family?
You know, I'm so interested in the politics to push you there as well.
I know. You've always told me, what are you doing? Come into politics.
Yes.
But I remember one of the conversations we had with my parents. Growing up, like I said, I always had this feeling that I need to lead. It's my calling. I have a calling to lead. But I remember one of the conversations I had with my parents, they said, you know, it's not right for you to think that leadership can only be in politics. Yeah. You can lead in any other spaces.
That's very powerful.
Yes. And for me, it really knocked something in because growing up, I saw them as political leaders mainly. And I thought that is the only way
to lead.
Ooh. Until they told me, no, you can actually be a leader in other spaces, in civil society, in school, in business. There is always space for you to mentor, to support, to contribute. So that kind of changed the way I think. But that does not mean that I lost interest in political leadership, because I still feel that is also a very important space, especially for women, to take up that space and to lead in the political, because that's where decisions are made, and that's where, you know, the environment for women to thrive can be made, can be shaped. So I think it's very important. I still have that in me. I know for sure that when the time is right, I will be there. I have people like you that are always pushing me, and telling me you need to
we must correct to the other people who are watching us the fact that in our country, of course, leadership is understood from that perspective of privilege, of position, instead of the contribution and service that people should be doing, because the leader has to be a problem solver and find solutions on, you know, changing society, impacting society. And I can see that clearly from you. Because you have that heart.
Yes, I have the passion, I have the heart. It is something that was, you know, from the time I was young, we were told that, you know, leadership is about, you know, influencing someone or transforming someone's life. Service, you know, it's not about being up there and making money and being that's occupying space. And, you know, it can be both, but it depends on how you really use it.
It's an African problem, and we need to unlearn that, because that's why then the scramble for politics and all that is alarming, and the money that we spend to get elected, only to think that you're going to earn it there.
Exactly. You know? I think for me that is also one of the reasons that I think I am not yet in politics, because I feel like our political environment has been so monetized. And sometimes I really wonder whether our people that we want to represent know that it's wrong that someone who comes and pours money in your face is actually the person that is going to transform your life. Something has happened, something has gone wrong, especially at community level, you know, for the electorate, the people that vote.
Wow.
If someone comes with a bag of money, if someone is picking, I will do this, this is money I can give you, that is the person that they will vote. Yet there are really people that have passion, that want to serve, that want to transform, that want to change, but they may not have the money. And many people are not giving them the opportunity to go there so that they can, through them, they can be able to transform. And that is the reason I'm not yet in politics, because I think something has gone wrong, something needs to change. People need to understand that you need to understand this person. What is Monica going to do for me when she represents me in parliament?
The roles
other
of
than
a leader.
What is Monica giving me now? What is she giving me now? So that, you know, it has become a transaction. Give me something and I will give you a vote.
It's a generational issue. It is you and I who have to resolve that and change, and many others out there. And of course I look forward to seeing you in that level. I know right now you are a leader, and that's why we are here to talk about as well. I'd like us to discuss a little bit about Yukoback and what you're doing. You see, Yukoback has been around for quite some time. And
31 years.
It's not easy as an organization. So what are you doing? What is your impact? How is society changing from that corner where you are working? And many spaces.
Yukoback is a non-government organization, as you know, and our work is really around transforming and empowering women and girls. And we do this in different ways. We do this in areas of sexual and reproductive health and ending gender-based violence. So we do a lot of programming around that. We also do work around women's land rights. As you know, land is a critical resource, and when it comes to women, without land, we are nothing. And yet, through our societies, women are not able to inherit or own land because of our cultures.
Wow, it's a challenge.
So without that ownership, without the ability to access land, then we've cut out women from participating effectively in the development of our homes and our communities. So for us, women's land rights is a very, very critical program area that we organize around. So doing a lot of empowerment for women to be able to access land, to own land, and to even make it productive, utilize it. So that is another area that we work in. We also have work around orphans and vulnerable children.
Is that so?
Yes, and that is really one of our core program areas, in the sense that UCOBAC was actually founded by UNICEF as a community-based organization that would, mobilize children and work around supporting children at community level. That is way back in 1990.
Wow.
But over time, we realized that, yes, it's good to work with children directly, but traditionally, mothers or women have the primary responsibility to take care of children. So to have a holistic approach, it is, and a transformative approach, it's very important to also have programs that are targeting women, since traditionally they're the primary caretakers for children. So that is how we transformed from children to women as well. So the OVC program is our core program. That is what our history. It's basically around children's rights.
Oh, children's rights. So it's
advocacy. Around advocacy for children's rights, but also we have some service interventions, like sponsorship programs for children, especially those that are really vulnerable at community level. So we do education, we do nutrition and health, sexual and reproductive health for those that are adolescents and youth. So there's a lot that we do with children at community level.
There's a lot of talk around early childhood development for children. I don't know if you have come across this discussion. It's very important that we put our attention to it, because then the countries are focusing on this child from primary one. But science tells us that from ground zero to 5 to 6, that is when the brain is developing so much. So many things need to be invested, and yet a whole generation can be lost because our lack of attention to those areas. So I'm just trying to give
and
you
I think that is an area that has really not been supported a lot, especially at community level for the for the grassroots communities, and it's because of the fact that we do not seem to think it's important, like you have mentioned. We feel like the children can stay home, but also we look at them as a source of labor. They can support us in, the house chores and all that. And yet the children lose a lot at that time. At that time, the brain is like a sponge. It is absorbing everything
in the environment,
and so forth. So early childhood development is really critical.
Very.
And I think, yes, parents and the home has a contribution that it makes to develop a child at that level, but also the schools is also another space where we need to take children so that we can start, growing their mind. Like I told you in my life, growing up, what I saw, what my parents spoke to me was really teaching me and has made who I am.
Absolutely.
Now imagine these children who are not having this opportunity to know that you can be a leader, you can contribute, you can make things with your hands, you can do so much. They're missing a lot, because this is the time when the sponge is absorbing and keeping all these important things in the special corners in the brain. So early childhood development is very important, and we need to invest more. Government needs to invest more, development partners need to invest more in supporting children at that level, so that then later we can really see the fruits out of that, have children that are really empowered.
Actually, the economics are proving that, we will save a lot of money in his countries, but also these individuals who receive good early childhood development are more productive than those who did not go to nurseries and achieve that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Ukobak works around many issues. I'm hoping that you can pick up with that as well.
Yes, we actually are not currently doing early childhood development, but it's something that we know that we need to contribute to. And we are doing a lot of, mobilization of resources to be able to also support in early childhood development. But we work with children, especially from primary level to secondary level. So we have school-based interventions, household-based interventions, working with children, supporting that institution so that children can be able to have an environment in which they can thrive and contribute better to our society. So that's what we do. And then finally, what we also do is that we are also organizing around climate change, adaptation and mitigation. And the idea that we come from a position where we are saying that climate change is one of the challenges that we are facing very much today. And women are really facing, the impact is more on women.
Certainly.
And yet, when it comes to financing programs, when it comes to empowering, when it comes to making policies, people are not looking at it from a gender lens.
Totally.
Seeing that actually climate change does not affect women and men in the same way. It really impacts us because we are different. We have different realities. Our society has shaped us differently. And also climate change affects land most. And yet that is where women really rely to be able to do support their care work, support their families, but also to thrive economically, politically, and so forth. So our work is really to mobilize women and empower women to be able to contribute to making our climate more adaptive, to mitigate impacts of climate change, and also to build more resilient communities against the impacts of climate change.
And also very exciting.
I'm
How
very happy
far and wide are you in terms of geographical in Uganda?
We actually work nationally level. We work in all parts of the country, but because of resource constraints, our current programs that we have are in specific districts. Currently, we are working in 11 districts.
That's a big number.
A drop. It's a drop in the ocean because we have how many districts, Monica?
But I mean, how many organizations can work in 11 districts? It's
so
a challenge.
we are, I think for us, at some point we were doing 30, but we realized that we are spreading too thin. We are doing small things in the district. So we narrowed down to 11 and really are doing concrete work in those few districts where we are. And we are really a grassroots organization. Yes, we have as an office at national level. We do advocacy work at national level, but most of our work is really grassroots. It's community based. So we mobilize communities, we empower communities, we work with people down there, especially women and girls, so that they can be able to contribute effectively to the development of our country.
Of course, I cannot hide this, that I'm very proud of you, Frances.
Thank you.
In terms of the work that you're doing,
Thank you.
Being an executive director, leader, team leader of such a big institution, doing so much in community. That's where my heart is. I love to see those, kind of things happening, supporting the less privileged and helping people around in life. And I can be able to say that I think even your family is proud of you. You've been able to keep the legacy. Because this one family of Mukisa has been able to do this. And also 30 years impacting community. Because what I see is you have taken over from what your mother, where your mother started.
I think they are. From the feedback that I get, I think they are very proud. Especially my mother, who feels that, currently she's retired. But at least she feels that there is continuity in what she started. Her peers, the Tezuras, the Winnie, the Anyimas, and all that are really proud because they were part of mentoring my journey. This is their muzukulu contributing in the best way that she can. But I should also give some credit to my family, my husband. I am married to a very, very good man. You know, sometimes we fear to say that they are good people because
besides us.
But
beside a successful woman, there is a man. Besides a successful man,
so I have
there is
a
a
very
woman.
supportive family. I am married to Mr. James Odong, who works with Uganda Revenue Authority. He's also making his contribution in that area.
Yeah.
But for me, I think that also it's very important for us as women. It's very helpful when we have supportive families.
Very important.
You know, my husband is a kind of person who has really supported this journey. He's not threatened by the power that I have.
You can
He's
say
not
that
threatened by the growth.
I know.
And the work that I do has shown me that when women get empowered at all levels, even at household level,
thrives.
It's very sad that the people that are closest to them, especially their spouses or their brothers, will be the ones to bring them down because they're threatened by the power that women hold.
Wow.
And we need to change that narrative for families, for communities to understand that when you have an empowered woman, empowered girl, you all benefit.
That's what this is about.
Yes, you all benefit.
We want women to rise in every space.
Because we are not selfish.
No.
It's not for us only, but it's for everyone.
Yeah.
It's for our families, it's for our children, it is for our communities, it is for our country. So for me, I really appreciate my family, also my siblings.
Yeah.
You know, everyone has gone there. You asked that question. Everyone has gone their ways. We have politicians in there. We have people that are working in civil society.
Okay.
Like the platform that was provided was like, you can do anything anywhere and you can contribute in many ways. So having a very supportive family has really supported my work.
But before we take leave of that matter, I think that there is a challenge we are facing as women leaders shortly, because then men feel we have arrived. We don't need any more support. It is the men who are endangered. Have you heard of man cave?
Yes.
I don't know what. So many things. Men are coming up with movements across the world again to challenge, to say that women, you have got enough. Have we really reached that point in terms of equality as women?
No, I think it's twofold. For me, the way I see it, men and boys have been handed over power for a very long time. And you know what power is? When we get power, we want to hold on to it because of the privileges that come to it. So the fact that women are coming up to occupy this space and want to share, we don't want to take away the power. We want to share that power.
A little reduce it.
Yes, you know, just give us some power so that we can walk this journey together, because we can contribute a lot to this. So I think it comes, most of the men, especially those that are reacting negatively, it is because of that fear that these people are out here to take our power and we are finished.
And it starts in the family.
It starts in the family.
So
like
if you have
I
an
say,
exceptional family, it's different. But the majority of the families, the battles are in the family.
It actually starts from the family.
Yeah.
If the family, if your spouse, if your brothers, if you see your growth as a threat,
as value addition or a threat,
as a threat, then they will fight you.
Yeah.
Then they will say everything to bring you down. But if they see it differently and see as something that, you know, brings us up together, that contributes to a bigger picture, then they will support you.
Absolutely.
So I think the fear that men have is really coming from an ignorance point of view, for them to fear that we are taking power from them and they're going to be nothing. And that's not, I think that's not what we are up to.
Yeah.
For us, we are here to say, you know, share that power. Let's walk this journey together. So that we can be able to have a greater good.
Okay.
So that is where the problem is. But at the same time, I think men may be right at some level. And I've seen some men really organizing to say, yeah, I think we recognize there is a problem. And therefore, we want to support
the women.
You've heard of the He for She movement
campaign.
Yes. So I think those are positive campaigns.
Men walking in heels.
In heels, you know. I think they're trying to demonstrate that we hear you, we understand
your problems, your
challenges, the history, and we recognize
we are the problem as well.
That we are the problem, and we recognize that actually when we share this power, we are not losing. We are all beneficiaries. Winning. So there are some of those men that have really come together to work with women, to walk this journey with women.
Wow.
And we see that a lot of change comes when that happens. For example, from the work we do at community level, when we have men as champions, that are talking about women's rights issues,
wow,
we see that it's more impactful from the men. They say, okay, if really Pastor so-and-so is saying, or if this traditional leader is saying it's actually okay
yes,
for my woman to vie for a political leadership
as local council
or
chairperson,
if his wife is a local leader, but they're still together, they're still okay,
the family is better.
The family is thriving,
yeah.
Then we see that the men become more supportive. So we see that we need to champion men, to mobilize men to really work
with
to
women.
support with women and work with women, because they just need to understand that we are not here to take over. We are here to work with you so that we can improve our families, we can contribute our country, our society. So we are not here to really put you
You've
off.
actually got me thinking that we should host some men here as well.
I think so, especially those that have really, because it's not easy, Monica. It's not easy. Power, letting go of power. You even see sometimes, you have been a member of parliament, you see sometimes that when some people lose that position, they get crushed.
No, yeah.
Why?
Totally.
You don't have to. Like Monica is now doing, you're doing this, you were a member of parliament, you're doing so much. You're contributing in a different way, in entertainment, in this space and so forth. So sometimes because we think that when I lose this power, I'm done, I'm finished. That is why people will hold on to power.
Wow.
That's why people will kill for power. That's why people will steal for power. That's why because you think that once this is shared or taken, I'm done. So I think if we change that narrative and people understand it's okay, I can actually step back and do other things, and other people can take on this space, or we can share the space, it will take us to another level. I think men just need to recognize that, that, women can also be in these spaces, contribute in these spaces. It is for all of us. We all benefit at family level and also at national level. We shall all benefit when women are in these spaces.
Of course, Mary Frances, you have a lot in you that needs to be brought out. But of course, because of time, I know I will have you another time, and we're in the same spaces here and there. There's a lot that you have in terms of the work that you are doing, but also impact in our society. I'm just glad that I was able to fish you out to share your story, your journey, and also share a few lessons for young women out there, women, because we're encouraging women in this space to stand their ground, hold forth, arise, come out. The world is out there for us to dominate, to enjoy together with men. So I'd like you just to capture a few lessons for our young women, our upcoming leaders, even other leaders who are still struggling. You're a leader right now. I'm only waiting to see you in another space, but for the fort you are holding, you are leading other people, you are impacting society. I'd just like you to share a few lessons here and there that have helped you going in this journey of life to where you are.
I think for me, the starting point is really just to say it does not matter what your history is. It does not matter whether you came from a very privileged family or you really came. Like I said, my parents came from really ordinary, apart from my father. For him, I think it was his father was really a prominent business person. But there are so many examples of people that have really come from nothing or from really humble environments and have really made it, have contributed in different spaces. So really it does not matter. You just need to know that you can contribute something. You can do something with whatever history you have, with whatever experiences you have. You just have to put it in your mind that I can make it, I can contribute, I can serve, I can be a leader in different spaces. So once that changes in your mindset, then you can start recognizing that actually I am good at this. I am actually good at that, and I can contribute in this way, and that can propel you to to a different level. So for me, that is don't look at your history, don't look at what your realities have been. Just know whatever it is, it does not determine what you can be and what you can do. So I think that is very important.
Yes.
But I also think for me from my experience, one of the things that I have learned as a leader is that we need to know ourselves. We need to invest in knowing who we are. So we need to take that time as women to really step away from everything and know who are we, so that when we know who we are, then we can then know what we can do
with ourselves.
With ourselves, exactly.
Okay.
So, you know, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And for the strengths, you can, you know, you can use them to go to another level. For the weaknesses, you can either, you know, do away with those that are really bad once you accept that I really have this weakness, but also you can tweak them and use your weakness as to an advantage. For example, if you are a very emotional person, you can see it as a disadvantage, but it can also be a strength, because you can use that empathy to reach out, to listen, to counsel, to coach, to mentor. So it is a weakness that you're too emotional, but it can also be used as, you can use it to your advantage.
Nice.
So know yourself to grow yourself is very important. Another issue is that we need to know as young people and also as leaders is that you need a team, you need a support network around you. So you need to grow a team.
And it has been said that these networks are very difficult to keep.
They are very difficult to keep. So and also to make. So it's very important to know that I cannot walk this journey alone. I need to have a network of friends. I need to have a network of peers. I have to have a network of leaders, of young people, people that, you know, I can resonate with and I can learn from and be able to move to the next level. So if you're already a leader, you need to have a team and you need to know your team. Get out of your way to know what is it that is with this
good in this person,
good person that I can also tap from. I told you, Monica, before we started this show, that I really love your show because I listen to the people that you host. And every time I am listening to them, I learn something.
I can tell you I learn a lot every time I host somebody here.
Yes, I learn something and I'm saying, okay. And these are people maybe I don't even know. There is a person that you hosted sometime and she was giving her experience of how for a long time she didn't know that she was not a child, a biological child of those parents.
Wow.
And then later realized that she actually was adopted or something.
Or something, yes.
And then you asked her, but how did you take all that time without knowing? She said, okay, of course there were signs, but I think my parents did everything possible to make sure that we never... For me, what I learned from that is that I biologically have 4 children, but I take care of another child, me and many others. How can I go out of my way to make sure that they never ever at one time feel that they are being treated differently because they are not my biological children? So there's something small that you learn that can
also
improve
battle
you
with in my household.
So you really need to know you need to create that network, you need to create a team and walk this journey with you. Just know what your vision is as a person, as you know yourself. What is your vision? What is your mission? What contribution do you want to make? Once you have clarity on that, then you need to have this team that you also support to see that, okay, how can we together get there? How can you walk this journey with me to get there? What contribution can you make to me?
Assembling yourself with smart people.
With smart people.
Who resonate with you.
Who can actually take you to that vision or that mission that you have. That is something that I've really learned. We are too busy as leaders. You're in this meeting, you're there and that, and we forget ourselves. So really we really need to create those spaces. Take time out, like just go out for a social, hang out with your friends, learn something, laugh a bit, take care of yourself.
That's another
mentally, physically, we need to be emotionally, so that you can be able to reach that mission or vision of yours.
Which is 50-year long term, I don't know what.
So if you can, so if you want to go to the gym, or you want to eat right, or you want to do, like there's a lot that you can do so that you can be healthy. And when you're healthy, then you will have the mind is good. You can reach that vision or mission, but also your team will be healthy because they are seeing you and they are saying, I want to be like Monica. I want to.
But sometimes it's easier talked than done. For example, the health program, you can say, okay, I want to get into a gym or I must exercise every day. Is it easy?
No, it's not easy. Monica, it's not easy, but you have to be intentional. You really have to be intentional. And that's why I said you have to really figure out.
With our busy lives, mothers, then I don't know how many roles.
Monica, I can tell you, I am very busy. I travel, I go to communities, I do, but I make time. It doesn't have to be, it's 45 minutes. Just go somewhere. You don't even have to go to the gym. Do it in your bedroom. Just do something. Because if you're not healthy physically and mentally, you're not going to be able to be a good leader. Because you're
You'll
messed
come back
up.
with the overnight
Yes,
of the mind of last
so
night.
we need to really take time to heal, but also to be able to be healthy. And we must be intentional. There is time. Monica, there is a lot of time.
In the
These 24 hours, it's a lot of time.
Wow.
So you can be a leader, you can take care of yourself, you can take time to visualize what it is that you want to be. And then maybe finally, that's my message that I would also want to give out there for young people that aspire to be leaders, but also leaders, is that we need to understand that we need to have the confidence to do what seems to be impossible for us. Like, we need to really break all these barriers.
Is it easy?
No, it's not, but you really have to be intentional. You need to always tell yourself that I am not going to go the easy way.
Okay.
Let me try the hard way. Let me see how far I go. Just start from that point of, I have two options. This is the easier way. This is the harder way. Of course, naturally, you will want to go to the easier way. Yeah. But I'm encouraging people to try the harder way. Like you always encourage me, get into politics. There is a lot of obstacles. It's the harder way. But why not? We just need to start going, breaking those barriers. It could be cultural, social, all those difficulties that we face in life. So we need to have the confidence. You need to have the determination. You just need to decide and say, no, I am not going to be a statistic of those that failed, that didn't contribute, that never tried. Yeah. Once you do that, then you will be able to break so many barriers. As women, we have so many barriers. So many. Culture, education, workspace is not friendly. There is a lot that we need to overcome. So just having that determination and saying, I will go the harder way and not the easy way will take us to the next level.
Madam Edie, I think we could do another engagement in terms of training women leaders here. And of course, a lot of people challenge me. Why are you pushing people into politics? Politics is not that nice. There is nothing, what is it about politics? Why not about politics, really? Yeah. I mean, I just want you to address that question, because for me, there are two things. One, the elites are comfortable seated wherever they are and commenting on the usual challenges of our country. And they're leaving people probably who do not have the calling and even the desire or even the knowledge to take the country forward, to go to those spaces. Number two, on the side of women, we need more women. We have not reached the epic or the standard or equality that we are talking about, because we are far away, like 150 years to achieve that equality, even with the numbers that we have right now. So we still need more women. That's why I keep encouraging, even through this program, as many as possible.
It's very, very
important. And from your experience, value addition, where women are as leaders, they add value to society. I just want you to wrap up with that comment on that.
Yeah, just to say that I think politics is one of those hard things that we need to really go to as women and also as young people, for the good of the country.
Not for anything.
And it is important. I mean, that is a space where decisions are being made in terms of resources, in terms of programs, in terms of, what is going to be available and what is not going to be available for a certain category of people. So if we do not take up those positions, then we are going to be left out. We shall continue to be left out. So I think we need to change that mindset and understand that politics is not bad, actually. There may be aspects of politics that are not moving the way they should be moving, but politics is not a bad thing.
Wow.
It is a space that we need to take up. It is a space that belongs to us, especially as women and girls. And we need to take up this space so that then we can be able to make decisions, to make the laws, to make the policies, to influence where the money goes, to influence what programs work for us, to influence so much that we'll be able to transform.
Wow.
So politics is very important. Leadership for women is very important. And women and girls need to understand. And we need to bring up our children and in all our spaces, talking to them, telling them, start off, be a prefect, be something, like start nurturing that leadership so that by the time we get to the level of taking up this space, we are not, frightened, but we are willing and we know that this is a good space. This is where the change will happen and therefore we need to be there. Okay. So I think it's a very good space and more women should be encouraged and should be supported as well because of the barriers that we have to be able to take up those spaces.
Wow, I want to thank you so much, my OG, my sister, my friend, my colleague.
Yes.
This is our time,
Yeah.
generation.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's why I keep fishing you all out wherever you are. That
you're doing great. Yeah.
you are wondering, oh, Monica, that's a space of big women. Which big women? You are the big woman now.
Thank you. Yes, when
You
I
are
saw
the
your
leader
message
now.
and you said, Frances, I would like to host you. I said, no. Your space is for big people. For us small people, we don't come there.
You
So
are
I
the
really
one.
appreciate.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me in this space. I'm happy to have, said something. I hope that it can impact on one or two lives out there and encourage more women to come out as leaders, as politicians, and even in other spaces, civil society, academia, media, and so forth.
Wow.
So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes, it's been said the future is female, and therefore we shall not tire in terms of bringing you these conversations here at Civic Space TV, particularly on this program, Women at the Frontline, because where the future is feminized, or where the country is feminized, where women are participating greatly, and there is value addition to society. So we certainly want to see that future, and I believe that it is not far away. If you and I get out there and occupy our space as women. So I'd like to thank you so much for being here, and of course for watching these programs that we bring to you. We hope that through the individual women's stories here, one or two things can change, can help a life, can impact your life, and inspire you or on a journey. Life is a bit stressing and distressing sometimes, but someone has to come out and tell you that yes, it's possible. Where you are at, keep moving, keep going, and you'll get to your destination. So thank you so much for being here. Until we see you again on another episode. Shalom.